And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas.
I'm Presbytera Michelle.
Thanks for joining us today for a quick chat and, of course, our morning cup of coffee.
Good morning, everyone. We hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us once again.
Absolutely. And we're sort of processing the events of the week, a big week. Earlier in the week, of course, we had the inauguration of our new president.
Monday.
Monday was Martin Luther King.
Yes.
And also Inauguration Day. And so we're reacting a little bit to the inauguration, and there's all sorts of reactions happening, continuing to happen to everything that's been going on. Not only the inauguration itself, but usually you talk about the first 100 days. I think it's more like the first 100 minutes. There's been so much happening.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of conversation.
We can't react to everything.
There's a lot of memes that have been created over the last couple of days.
A lot. So just a couple of general... First, like the inauguration itself. So it was interesting. It was indoors.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it being indoors. But it looked cold in D.C.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why it was indoors. It was interesting to see everybody there and who was there. Right.
It's a lot of fun to hear the critique of that.
Because the former presidents were there, of course.
Of course.
President Bill Clinton was there. Mm-hmm. Obama was there. Bush was there. Mm-hmm. Who else was there? Anybody else there?
Dan Quayle was there. There was some random.
Well, Joe Biden, of course. Obviously, Joe Biden.
Kamala was there.
Yeah. Lots of people were there.
Lots of rich people were there.
It was billionaire row at one point, right? You had Musk and Bezos and
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, the CEO of Google. Right?
Forgive me. I don't remember. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name either.
Okay.
But there were a lot of people.
There's a lot going on.
Obviously, that were right there, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So then the inauguration itself was, not too impactful.
No, I mean, we've seen many. We're old enough. We've seen a bunch.
Yeah, we've seen a lot.
Like you said, it was kind of nice. It was warmer. They weren't outside with the wind blowing and everybody in trench coats. It was a little bit more intimate, even though there were, didn't you say 1,500 people in the space, or
I think there were 800.
Oh, 800. That's
in
right.
the rotunda, and then there was a secondary viewing location someplace else that had 1,200, 1,300. I didn't watch all of the coverage, like it was all day coverage.
Right.
But
we just wanted to hear him.
We watched a little bit of it. We watched some of the events of it.
Yeah.
Some of the performances were interesting. The tenor, America's tenor.
We wish we could have fast forwarded.
Okay. Not great.
It was all right.
Interesting.
Carrie Underwood, I thought was sweet that she rose to the occasion when there were technical difficulties.
That was a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
That was music starts playing and then it goes dead.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting and she's looking and we're waiting. And then she's like, okay.
She's lovely. Yeah,
the words, sing along.
Yes.
And she just kind of belted it out.
Short and sweet.
It was good.
Yeah. I just wanted to hear Trump speak. I really wanted to know what he was going to say.
I think takeaway, because, we try not to get political on the show. There are people that are incredibly happy and there are people incredibly upset.
Yes.
So it's kind of like ministry. It's kind of like my job. I can never win. There's always people happy with what you do and always people upset with what you do. But I think generally
it's just life.
We try to be hopeful. I mean, what I tried to do as I was listening was just be hopeful for better days.
It speaks to you when, you're hoping for your family and for
it does.
Selfish.
I know there was all sort of this, and then the events that unfolded, the pardoning, last minute pardoning by Biden of family and, some key figures during his administration or previously. And then, of course, Trump pardoning the January 6th people, which I guess he pledged to do. In his campaign.
Like you said, the first day was
all of, the signing of all the stuff and all of the executive orders that he signed, some of which are head scratchers, some of which are like, okay, close the border. I thought it was closed, or secure the border, thought it was secured, kind of declaring cartels to be enemies of, I know officially terrorists organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. There's certain things that I get.
I would hope that no matter what you thought of the gentleman in the front, that you thought some of them were very reasonable.
Yeah. Well, and again, there are going to be people that said all of it's terrible. And there's some people say all of it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You kind of, try to listen and be reasonable.
Yeah.
And as I said, hopeful. We're hopeful for good times. We're hopeful for better days for the country. Yeah. We hope that it can't get any worse. And we hope that it can only get better. And that's no matter who takes over, right? No matter who is putting their right hand up and swearing the oath.
Yes.
Whoever it is, you're hoping that they're going to do a better job than the last person.
Yes, please.
And that things are going to get better.
Yeah. For our children and our grandchildren. And
absolutely.
It's generational. Like you said, the hope springs eternal. And I think America, isn't that what other people think of us? That's where dreams come true.
I hope
It used to be what they said. I don't know.
Yeah. We were the land of opportunity.
Yes.
I mean, I do like, what was his phrase? Common sense revolution. Is that what it was? A common sense. I mean, common sense is good. We like common sense. Yeah. Employ a little common sense.
Yeah, we don't want him to go overboard.
No, but a few of the basic things that we agree to be common sense, it was nice to hear someone actually say out loud and verbalize, which is nice. And then we'll see what happens with executive orders. I don't know. But, I think in general, as we were watching, I was watching it. And as I'm continuing to watch, I'm hopeful. Yeah. It was nice that you're looking at, we didn't do any sort of analysis of fashion. I mean, you wouldn't expect me to be doing that. I wear black, and that's about it.
Okay.
But generally speaking, the idea that, so he wore a purple tie.
I
liked the idea that he wore a purple tie. People commented more on Melania's hat.
Yeah, than his tie.
And the other chick in the background.
Don't go there.
Okay.
Don't go there.
What she was wearing under her white coat. Then they did the fact that he was wearing a purple tie. Like, he didn't come out with a big, bright red tie and say, I'm Republican.
He wasn't trying to throw it in our face.
I like the fact that he was coming out, I think, wearing the purple tie. I don't know if I noticed it right away.
You pay attention to detail.
Yeah, okay. He's trying to say, I want to work with people. I want to reach across the aisle. I want to work with. And I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe I'm just reading into that. But I think the idea of sort of saying we're hopeful that we can get things accomplished. We're hopeful that we can work, that he can work across the aisle and get things done that are going to better our country, no matter what position.
That's a good point. I forgot about that. We've had many times where we've watched politics, and whether or not you like the person who gets voted in, if you voted for them, and the other people won't let them get anything done.
Right, and so there might be some of that. I mean, he's blessed with having majorities everywhere.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, you need all the Republicans to still vote for what you're trying to do.
Yeah, like, can we work together, like you said, to be hopeful, to make things a little bit better? It's been very difficult on people over the last several years. You can look at it all different ways. You can complain about gasoline prices or groceries, or you can complain about anything, really, Father, let's be honest.
Inflation has been rough.
It's been difficult.
Crime has been difficult for people, and there's lots of things we can go on and on. But I think the reality is if we're hopeful. And so in the political life, in the political sphere, if we're hopeful, we should be hopeful in our spiritual life. We should be hopeful in that way. We should not act in a way that is hopeless. And when I say hopeless, I guess what that means is maybe it's more sort of self-defeating. We're defeatist. Sometimes spiritually we can become defeatist. In other words, well, this is who I am. This is where I'm at, and it ain't ever going to change.
As good as it's going to get?
I'm as good as, it's Jack Nicholson, right?
As good
I love that scene. He's walking out of the therapist's office. He turns and looks at everybody else in the waiting room and just says, what if this is as good as it gets?
Wow.
And they are all just devastated.
Yeah,
because
we don't need that.
You're hoping that things are going to get better. And in the spiritual life, you've got to think, in my relationship with Christ, don't ever think, what if this, I can't say, I say the sentence, what if this is as good as it gets? Yeah. It should always be, no, it'll be better. No, I have hope that it will get better. I have hope that I can get closer to Christ. I have hope that I can do better. And if you don't have hope in it, then you're never really going to exert yourself to try to make things better. You're just going to sit where you are and say, nope, I give up.
Oh, because you've kind of sat down. You sit down when you have no hope. Like, you know what? This is where I am. Yeah,
sometimes it's lay down. I feel like sometimes people are just
fall down.
They're on the deck. They're just, that's it. I'm not even getting up to sit down. This is where I'm at. I'm not moving. We spiritually sort of plop ourselves on the couch spiritually and say, this is where I'm at. I don't pray any different. I don't fast any different. I don't go to church anymore. I don't receive communion. I don't give to my church. I don't perform works of mercy or help other people. This is just who I am. And
take
that's
it or leave it.
Yeah. And we just sort of think that we can force God to accept us into heaven where we are. But it's really a way that is hopeless, right? Yeah. Because if you have hope, then no, wait, I can push myself to do a little bit better. I can be better.
Yeah.
I can be happier, right? I can be more joyous. Because there are people out there that are just miserable. You know who you are. We all know who we are. You're out there and you're just trudging through life, dragging yourself out of bed every morning and just pushing yourself through it. And it's because it's hopeless.
And we don't want that.
No.
No.
That's what feeds into our anxiety and to our depression and all of our negativity is not having hope in anything. And what we're supposed to have hope in is not in ourselves because, well, that would be silly because, we're broken and fallen.
We're the ones laying on the ground, right?
We have to have hope in Christ. We have to have hope in God to sort of say, well, if I ask for self, he's going to pick me up.
Yeah.
I have to have hope in that love and in that mercy to keep on saying, if I keep trying, he's going to help me get better and better.
And we don't have to do it alone. We get exhausted. Let's be honest. We can become exhausted.
Sure.
And then we think, I have nothing.
Become exhausted.
Yeah, we are exhausted.
You, but I'm cooked.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. I'm fried.
Right. So
everybody is. We're exhausted.
But then we say there's nothing left in the tank, and we forget that he's so much greater than our weakness, or what is his.
What
is made perfect in our weakness? I'm doing a bad job at quoting things.
If you don't know the quote, then don't
bring
start.
It up.
If you don't know the quote,
he has the memory. I do not. I have the laughter. He can remember everything. What I'm trying to say is that that's my faith. My faith is that I am not doing it alone.
Right.
My faith is that I got up today because God helped me get up today.
Right.
Or at the end of the day, I survived today because he's holding my hand.
And I'm hopeful that tomorrow will be better than today.
Thank you.
And having hope in that. So the same way that for all the people out there that are struggling with Trump being in office and with all the executive orders and everything that he's doing, and there's some people that are just, of course, focusing on all the negativity, whether you're on that side, whether you're out there cheering,
doing cartwheels,
saying, thank God there's finally some common sense back and let's do these things. Either way, be hopeful. Be hopeful for the future of the country. And in the spiritual life, don't be devastated by day-to-day life because it can be devastating and paralyzing. Be hopeful that tomorrow will be better today. Be hopeful that when we can't get up, God will lift us up. And that with that attitude, of remaining hopeful, joy is possible. And in that way, we get closer and closer to Christ. And we do that each and every day.
Amen.